Okay, so hello, and I'm going to do an overview orientation to the function of the platform from a user perspective on a day-to-day basis. Most of the time when people do these demonstrations, they kind of start from a how do you set it up, and it spends a lot of time talking about how to do the admin to the setup and not about how do you actually just use it on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to try to focus on how to usability on a day-to-day basis. So when you log into the platform, you're typically going to have come to this launch pad. And very few people are going to use the launch pad on a day-to-day basis. It's a setup kind of thing. So I'm not going to go through what the menu items on the setup are. But the first time you log in, if you just literally go down this set of steps one by one, you'll get 90% of your system up and operational the very first time you log in. This is a test account. There's some real integrations going on, but they're fake. Um, that's a fake profile. So there's no phone set up for this particular account. So again, the orientation, this launchpad, you'll use the first time you log in. After that, new users will want to install the mobile app on their mobile device so that they can access phone calls and text messaging and emails directly on their mobile device while they're on the go. But that's really the only thing you're going to use this launchpad for after the very first time that you get it set up. All right. So what do you use on a regular basis? The dashboard is where you see the data that's happening with your company. And again, this is a notional company, test account. Therefore, there's not going to be much here to see. This is just placeholders because there's no actual data going on. That's a great way to orient yourself to what's happening in your business. Similarly, when you have your pipeline set up correctly, your opportunities are another great orientation to what's happening in the flow of business into your business. I said not accessing. There we go. So this is just an example. And so for purpose of the demonstration, there's no real data here, but significantly you can have an automation that moves this card based on something happening, someone triggering an action, or you can have automation set so that if someone comes into the opportunity card and manually moves it to a status, it will start another series of automations. But for purposes of today, I'm not going to go into what the automations are or how you build automations, because again, I'm taught those will be built as part of your setup, and then you pretty much will leave them alone. Okay, so the dashboard is where you see what's going on in a holistic picture with your business. Opportunities is where you see the status of each individual deal as it works through the process. You're going to spend most of your time on conversations. In the conversations tab, you can see the person and you can see their the ways that you have had a conversation with them. So in this case, lots of emails that have been opened, an unsuccessful text message because there's no phone set up in this account. Emails, this is a messenger message, Facebook Messenger. And a response, email, and then the opportunity update that I just did just a moment ago. You can look at all, and again, this is a notional company that doesn't really exist, so it's just me as a test subject. But significantly, will show that this tells you that the most recent conversation was an email conversation. We're going to show that we can change it to be a messenger message. You'll also look at your calendars. This is where you're going to see your appointments. So I can go here and I can say, I want to actually have no calendar set up here for this particular account. And that'll be a good next demonstration. Actually, I stand corrected. I do have a calendar set up here. And so I'm going to show you quickly 2 ways you can book an appointment with somebody. So this is in that contact record. And you can see once I go into the contact level, instead of in the conversation. So in the conversations tab, I see here about who I'm talking with. And then I see all the names over in this column of all the people that I'm having conversations with. In the individual contact record, which I open here, or I can open in this menu item over here, I can see more details about this person. I can see again the same conversations view, all the things that we've talked about. And then I have this details history of activity. So this particular contact has visited web pages and filled out forms. I can assign a task related to this person. Make demo video. Due date is, let's make it Friday in the morning. Check that. Assign it to this dude, and it's related to that dude. So now I have a task assigned to me, related to me, and it's due in 2 days. I can write notes about this person. This guy has no hair. I can associate one contact with another contact. So if, for example, I have a spouse, I can have a couple. I can have a parent and children. I can have co-owners of a business. I can have contacts associated with each other. This is the ability to record and payments, and also make charges to this particular client. Create them a invoice. I can attach documentation about my professional relationship with them, and back to the middle, set an appointment. So I can set an appointment, test appointment, and we're going to make it on Friday again, because we're not doing it on Thanksgiving. And book that appointment. In a moment, we're going to go look at the calendar, and we're going to see it on the calendar. So that's an orientation to conversations here, and contacts. Conversations and contacts. So now we're going to look at the calendar. There we go, calendar. In the calendar, if we scroll up, wow, we're going to do a refresh. It is a web-based application, and so you need to, if multiple tabs open, you're going to need to refresh each tab in order to make sure that that particular instance has the most recent information that's happening in the system. And you need to tell it which calendar to display. So there's a project review. There's my test appointment that I just made. And I can look at it in a list view. There's that test appointment. Now, let's go back to calendar view and say I'm going to immediately book a follow-up appointment. And we're going to call this S. And we're going to leave everything the same. But now we don't have a contact associated with it. So now we have to manually go in here and find that contact and add that contact. So now Why did it not associate? Oh, there it is. So that context aside. Now we can also add, and I'm going to have two guests. So I know I need to provide coffee and desk space for two additional guests. Now I can book that appointment and we can see there you go. Now, if we go back to appointment view, contact, project review calendar. Oh, interesting. And then if we refresh this tab, and I'm going to end up having to gray out almost all of this because of my personal information. And now we see that in addition to the 8 o'clock appointment, we also have a 9 o'clock appointment. I can do something else on my calendar because tomorrow happens to be a holiday. I can actually do something like this, block off time in that calendar. Now I can set the end time to be 24 hours or 12 hours. I can block that time. And now that time is blocked and no one can book externally. I can manually override it, but someone can't, even if someone has the calendar link, they can't book on it. Okay. So that's an introduction to calendars, an introduction to conversations, introduction to contacts. I'm going to say one more thing about conversations. So for this test company, I have a website and I have a Facebook page. 0 likes, 0 followers. Okay. I'm going to say one thing about market. So I'm talking conversations. So one of the things I can do in my conversations in my integrations is I can integrate with the web chat. So I can say something like, this is a demo, and I can send that. One of our representatives will contact you. And now you see this change from an @ sign, which was an email, to this chat symbol. This is a demonstration, and you can respond in this chat window, in this conversations tab, and this conversations tab exists also on your Lead Connector mobile app. This is a demonstration. There we go. And I can, okay, so because I don't have live chat mode set up, I can't chat back. So I have to send them via a text message or via an email to respond to that. To respond to that chat. If I had this in live chat mode, I would actually be able to respond in this chat window. I would be able to respond live to that conversation. So this gives me a good chance to demonstrate something else. One of the things that you will need to do is you'll get duplicate contacts and you will need to merge them. So you can, in your contacts mode, search for that guy and select all versions of that guy. And then these menu items across the top will go into detail in a longer conversation. But for this purposes, we're going to merge. We're going to say this is the master contact, select all of those, and we're going to keep only the ones that make sense. So now the system is going to recognize that these are actually the same person. Now, when I go back into this contact record, I have the ability to, I got the the messenger, I got the chat widget message here, but now in addition to text message and email and WhatsApp, I can send them a Facebook Messenger because this particular contact has already sent a message via Messenger. So that was a message off the chat widget off the website. Same if I were to fill out the form. But watch this. So if I'm on that particular company's Facebook page and in the demonstration in the conversations tab right now, I'm looking, it was an at, and then it's changed to a messenger message. Or sorry, not a messenger message, a chat widget message. Interesting that it didn't reset that. That's fine because this what you see is what matters is what's over here. But watch this now. If I go, okay, new demon. Now this symbol has changed to Facebook Messenger, and I can respond to that. And if I had my chat widget set on live chat, I could do this exact same thing. There we go. Happy Thanksgiving. I can, while I'm here, I have an email address for this person, so I can say, this is a live demo. Hi, Keith. B. And if I go over to an email account, I can respond back, and that message that comes in as a reply will come right back to this account, maybe, if my demonstration is valid. Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do this again. I'm going to go ahead. So one thing that you should know is it will default to the email address of the account in the from email, at least as of now. We've been trying to get this changed, but for right now, that's what it does. And so if you want it to come from somebody specific, you have to manually change who it comes from. New test. Okay, so while it's doing that, I'm going to continue with what I was going to do. So we talked about the dashboard. We talked about conversations. We talked about you can talk to anybody that you have contact information. You can. So there we go. I got a good response from this one. This obviously this reply went to the Bitbucket somewhere. Okay, so but the point is you can see that the most recent conversation was the chat. And if I were to send a new messenger Facebook Messenger message, the next thing would be very good. Okay. And again, because I don't have, yeah, so this is a messenger message. And we can see Happy Halloween. Okay. So that's conversations. And that's just good enough for now. Oh, one thing that I want to highlight is snippets. So in snippets, you can pre-write things that you say over and over again. So for example, you are always telling people turn right at the red barn. Well, you can pre-write a message that says turn right at the red barn. And then in your conversations, that will be available here, so you don't have to manually type turn right at the red barn every single time. And you can pre-write snippets for text messages, and you can pre-write snippets for emails. All right. We talked about calendars, we talked about blocking time, and we also talked about booking appointments, either directly on the calendar or through the contact record uh, action contact. Through the calendar appointments section of the contact record. Okay. And again, I'm going to have a whole bunch of this grayed out because there's real contact information for real people here. We talked about the opportunities. So dashboard and opportunities is how you see what's happening in your business. Conversations is how you have conversations with somebody. Calendars is how you track your daily schedule. Context is who you're having a conversation with and all the details about that individual person. And payments is your ability to process invoices and transactions with that individual. You can build a product, you can build an e-commerce store, you can build individual one-off products, and then you can write a contract that says this is what we're going to deliver to you for that price. And for today's purposes, I'm going to do only three more things. I'm going to talk very briefly about sites and media storage, and then I'm going to talk about marketing, and I'm going to talk about reputation. So media storage first. So media storage is literally just your library of your content. So you can upload a new file, and we can go to pictures, and we can go to the Pacific Northwest, and we can add a Mount Rainier picture. Yeah, that'll be good. Now we can go to sites, and most of this is not things you're going to change on a day-to-day basis. They're mostly the things that you're going to set up and change occasionally, quarterly or so. But just want to make sure it's oriented and make sure it's there, available. This is where you're going to set up your chat widget, but it's not how you're going to interact with your chat widget. Okay, so now we're going to talk about reputation, and we're going to talk about finally about marketing. Reputation is a particular kind of marketing message that is related to your reviews. Listings, really quickly, is the ability to have whatever is set in your business profile for this also populate to Google Business Profile, Bing, and 90% of the rest of the internet. And the reason that's important is from an SEO perspective, anything that the search engine finds that doesn't match, it would rather downgrade than guess whether or not it's which of the two is correct. So listings is important for your online reputation by keeping everything synchronized on all these different places that your business could possibly be listed. All right. What reputation is the reputation management is the ability to ask people for reviews, get reviews, and display them on a widget on your website. Specifically, we can automate, settings. There we go. We can set up the format you want your email requests for text message or for reviews and your text message requests for reviews. And then we can either run them in an automation, or we can in the conversations tab, we can actually send that review request to somebody. Say, hey, would you like to leave us a review? You can also have it set so that when someone checks in for an appointment, then you can send them a review. All right, and we're going to do one more thing. This is the kind of thing you might do on a fairly regular basis. So in Social Planner, I have this Facebook page is linked, right? And right now, the only thing is the initial page setup. We changed the profile picture, and we changed the cover image, and then we posted one post about what we do in the GHL business launch. But we can go here. There's only a Facebook page, so we can add a post, create a new post. Well, I'm going to go back. The post reviews is the ability to have the system monitoring Facebook and monitoring Google, looking for reviews, and then automatically post those when they come in. All right. Making a new post. And again, I have only this one Facebook page connected, but if I had multiple social media accounts, all of those options would be available, and I could select any or all of them. A beautiful day in the PNW. And I'm going to choose from my media library that Mount Rainier picture I just put. Get that link. Go back. I don't want the link. I want the actual image. There we go. Just needed to double click it. I think I was single clicking it. All right. And the interesting thing here is you can actually, so we can categorize. So this is lawn care or roof maintenance. You can add categories and tags, but here you can automatically say, what do you like about the wash, or something like that. And I can schedule it for some future time, or I can post it now. And for demonstration purposes, I'm posting it now because it says it's in progress. It's obviously not here yet. While it's doing this, I'm going to do one more little bit of a demonstration. So still in progress. I've never tried to see how quickly they post, so I don't know. And there you go. And it has the immediate first comment. And because I'm signed in as me, not as the page, Okay, so that's that. So as a review, so you see it was published on this date. As a review, we talked briefly about reputation. So ways you see what's happening in your business: reporting, opportunities, and dashboard. The way you see what your schedule is with your calendar. The way you have conversations and track who you're having those conversations with is conversations and contacts. When business is conducted, you have payments, which have contracts and quotes and estimates, um, transactions. And the way you follow up is by getting reviews, which turn into follow up, engage with people, and that turns into reviews, which builds your reputation. And that's enough for today's purposes. I'm Keith. I'm the bald guy. I help small businesses implement this software for their business.